God! No! God, please, no! No! No!
Welcome everyone to Ring the Belle, this is Diaz.
And the Sriracha Muchacha, Paloma Star.
And oh my god, we have such a big guest here today. It is Izzy! Yeah!
Sasha Banks running around with Izzy's headband on. Look, did you see Izzy?
Thank you for the ovation, that felt nice.
It is IzzyMania in Ring the Belle, I love it! And your t-shirt, Trish Stratus.
I gotta rep my girl, I gotta rep her.
So, you know, Trish is my all-time favorite. Who's your all-time favorite? Or is that a dumb question? Have we all seen that on TV?
I absolutely love Bayley, I really do. And then when Ronda came to WWE, I was like, oh my god, I love Ronda. I jumped trains, but I still love Bayley and she still has a special spot in my heart. Now that I've gotten older, I don't have like, oh, this is the one person I love. I'm set on this one person. I'm gonna start dressing up as them. I'm an open book, as people say.
So Izzy, I've seen that you've been training, I mean, you are obviously training as a pro wrestler, but also you're doing amateur wrestling and even martial arts?
I am currently doing amateur wrestling, but the season ended and then this whole pandemic happened, but we're not here to talk about the pandemic.
And how many matches have you had so far?
I have had a lot practice ones at my old pro wrestling school, and then I had my first official match with Effie. I beat him for the Internet Championship.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And we got to break the internet, which is so cool and a lot of fun because everybody hated that and a lot of people like that.
Any publicity is good publicity, so get it, girl.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
Everybody was like, oh my god, she got chokeslammed, because that's what actually happened in the match. But there was like so much more to it. He slapped me in the face in the beginning. Like there was so much more to it than just a chokeslam, which I was like, oh my god, just watch the full match. It's so much cooler than a chokeslam. I really enjoyed it because it was my first, I guess I should say, big bump, but I enjoyed it. It didn't hurt at all. I felt super safe with everybody I was working in the ring with because I got to work with Leva Bates as well. She was my tag partner. I just love them so much and they have been so supportive after all that craziness happened.
Let's jump right into this week's SmackDown and Raw because there's so many things happened. Oh my god, there's so much to talk about. So starting from SmackDown, what is this new rule called? It's not wildcard. Brand trade rule?
It's the brand invitational.
Brand
That's
invitational.
It, yeah. I love the brand invitational.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I like it because you get to see matches that you probably would have never thought would happen except at Survivor Series. So it's kind of like a hidden Survivor Series for the full year. That's why I like it a lot.
So this time they did make a rule where you can only show up in the other brand for 4 times. So that is a restriction. So I guess there's like a little limitation there. And Charlotte by this week will be in SmackDown twice. But Charlotte Flair came out. She cut a promo saying that she's a 12-time champion.
I am so happy that she's not only staying on NXT 24/7, that she gets to go on all the other brands. And she really said it best during her promo. She's been on all 3 shows, including Raw, SmackDown, and NXT.
I mean, Charlotte always brings it in all her promos, and quite honestly, in everything that she does, she brings it. I'm actually just a little scared that she might be a little bit overexposed. I don't want people to be like, you know, tired of her, like, oh, we're seeing her too much. I mean, quite honestly, she's the best in WWE, so why wouldn't you have her in all your shows? But I just don't want, like, the crowd, obviously there's no crowd, but like all the fans to turn their back on her and be like, oh, here comes Charlotte again. But I get it, she's a heel, but I don't want that whole like go away heat, you know. Like, so I'm glad that she actually cut a really good promo on this and kind of like how you said, Izzy, stirred the pot a little bit more, especially with the whole Bayley and Sasha dynamic.
One thing about Charlotte is that her talent is undeniable, that she, even though she shows up every week, every day, quality control is there, so she's always very entertaining. But the thing is, like, it could wear out, so I hope she can really keep it consistent, because that is a tough job of its own. One thing that she did in this promo is that she kind of like tweaked how many times that she was champion. She was like 10 times, and now she started counting NXT Women's Championship, so it's like 12 times now.
She's gonna make herself seem amazing, even though she is already amazing without the whole championship count. She's gonna make herself seem awesome.
And then now Bayley came out with Sasha Banks and just completely like, hey, Bayley's attitude is just getting better and better every week. She was working with Michael Cole. She was bringing the real storyline issue of Charlotte just beating Liv Morgan over and over again. It was just really, it's really interesting that she's like solidifying this character. So I love that.
I agree with that. Her attitude is getting better. But the only thing I did not like, she said, was when she just said, roasted.
Boom! Roasted!
I was like, no, you're not some 10-year-old kid. I was like, don't say roasted. I was like, listen, I'm not burying her. Please don't start that stuff. But I was like, why did she say roasted? It really doesn't make any sense. But like you were saying, her attitude has definitely gotten better. She's putting Sasha in the shadows. And it's kind of funny because in NXT, Sasha was putting Bayley in the shadows, so it's kind of cool to see it being reversed and everything.
I kind of love roasted. Roasted! I was like, yes, Bayley, I love it. Maybe it's just me. I like that mean girl side.
Just you.
I just liked it because I thought she was using it to be more of a like a troll. Yeah, totally. Like, oh, I know this is what like the buzzword is. I'm kind of excited to see what the crowd reaction is going to be to Bayley, because I think throughout this whole time, Bayley has taken in the most advantage to perfect her character, her gimmick, her mic skills. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how that's portrayed in front of an actual live crowd.
The Sasha Banks is right now in the shadow of Bayley, and Charlotte is the one that had all these amazing matches with Sasha Banks, main eventing pay-per-views, main eventing Raw. So I love that she came in and she was like, Sasha, get it together, because she really needs to, and it's gonna put fire under her butt.
I really want to see Bayley versus Sasha on the main roster because I really enjoyed it in NXT, so it would definitely be incredible to see it again. Charlotte is really stirring the pot. She's just stirring and stirring. She's gonna create the drama. Sasha is gonna be like, man, I'm better than this. I need to step up my game. And then she's eventually gonna turn on Bayley. Or it might be the other way around. I'm guessing she's gonna turn on Bayley.
I was thinking that on the drive over here. I was just like, what if it's the other way around? Because we're all expecting for Sasha to turn on Bayley, but what if it's, I don't know, what if it's the other way around? I'm excited to see what they go with it because it's been brewing for so long. I'm kind of seeing where they actually go with it when it finally happens.
Sasha's keep planting the seeds on Instagram because she's keep tagging Bayley as sheep and all that shade within Instagram. What do we think of this champion versus champion match happening?
I'm here for it.
Yeah, same. I love champions versus champions. I don't know. There's something about it that you really can't explain, but it's just
like special.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's special, so it's definitely going to be exciting. I feel like this week's episode of SmackDown is going to be killer.
And I love Charlotte's woo.
I know, that was really cute. It was like a small woo. It was cute.
Let's go to a match. It was quite controversial, I'll say. So it's Dana Brooke versus Naomi, and this is a rematch from the Money in the Bank qualifier match where Dana Brooke had an upset win, and everyone's like, what is happening? Naomi's getting buried. And guess what happened this time? Dana Brooke won.
She got buried, yeah. I was very surprised that this was a quick match and it was by a roll-up. I was like, oh, really? But I feel like Naomi's trying to get her name back on the map because she didn't get into Money in the Bank, and she didn't win any of the qualifiers to get into Money in the Bank. So she kind of has had a losing streak, which I noticed. I was expecting her to be better this time, to kind of learn, oh, since I'm not in Money in the Bank, I'm going to come out guns blazing. But this time, no. It's like,
do we think Naomi's going to turn heel?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Like, it's not going to be Feel the Glow anymore. It's going to be something else, like
Feel the Burn or something. Oh, wait, that's already taken. I think that's already taken.
Is it? Yeah.
No, I can't picture Naomi being a heel. I don't know what Naomi as a heel would be like. I kind of liked her like in Team Bad and that type of like heel setting. But I don't know how I feel about Naomi being a heel by herself.
The Slayomi?
Oh,
you don't remember? It was great.
You remember that?
You don't remember that because Nikki beat her all the time. So like she turned heel, but then Nikki was keep beating her. So I was like, no, that's just what happened. That's just what happened. Naomi, I just feel like there's so much potential with the Glow character. They didn't even tap into it. I will be really sad if they do turn heel.
This match was kind of random. Like, I was like, oh, okay, this match is happening now. And the way that the match started out made it seem like it was going to be way longer. Like the pace of it, them going back and forth, them both being baby faces and not really necessarily being like the heel in the match. I thought like, okay, we're in for a good long match. And then when it all of a sudden ended, I was like, oh, okay. And I think it's kind of a juxtaposition in how the role reversal, because for the longest time, Dana Brooke was that underdog that was being underutilized, and we wanted to see her get a push more and all that. But now we see her keep on winning, keep on getting those great opportunities and
opportunity.
And then now that she's actually like has momentum, I wonder if that has shifted over now to Naomi being the underdog and, you know, having a crawl and to get that win and get those moments.
Don't you think Naomi's too much of a veteran to be an underdog though?
I think so, for sure. Like, but maybe that's why they think it's gonna work more because people like her. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of random. I just thought it ended kind of all of a sudden, and I guess it's a roll up. It's supposed to be all of a sudden, but I just felt like it didn't really. I don't know. I was just getting into the match, and then it's over.
I feel like they can really do so much more because they're both incredible wrestlers. But it was just it was really quick, and I was expecting something because number one, like I was saying before, Naomi has been on a losing streak. She kind of should have been like, okay, time to get back on the ball. I got to get back on it. And then Dana, she's been on a roll, so. I was kind of expecting something like, oh, I'm gonna beat you. I've been doing great. I've been doing horrible, but I'm gonna be okay.
I'm super excited about Dana Brooke. She was the hero of that Money in the Bank match, was the best. I love that they're actually finally giving her some kind of storyline. She's an underdog, she's getting fluke victories. I think it's gonna be fun if they build it right.
Opportunities. I've been contract. Enough.
So let's move to Raw. There's so many things that happened.
Can I just say that like Raw was like 90% women? Like in every segment for like a good hour and a half, there was a woman involved, whether it was Zelina Vega or like a woman's backstage segment or a women's match. I was like, whoa, women MVPs again. It was a very, very woman heavy show and it was amazing. That I'm so glad so many more women are being featured in different roles too. Like we have backstage segments, we have, you know, in-ring things and all that stuff. So I just wanted to say that it was definitely women galore.
But shall we start from the celebration? Asuka's championship win celebration. Oh my god, it was so great.
So cute. So entertaining.
Yeah, now I'm gonna say I had no clue Kairi can play the flute. And I was like, good for you, Kairi. Like, good for you.
What was she even playing? That was my question. I was like, what is she trying to do?
It reminded me of something from Legend of Zelda. Like, I don't know, like there was a character that played the flute in Legend of Zelda, but it just reminded me of something like that. I don't really know. But I was like, good for you, Kairi. You deserve this moment to shine with your flute.
You know, there's this like really cute Twitter feed that's between like Kairi and Asuka. And Asuka's like, everything you did was amazing. The flute was beautiful. And then later Asuka tweets out, that was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh my god.
This was like so cute. Kairi just playing that recorder there and then Asuka's just dancing next to it. It was just so wholesome content. I had a great time. And just the fact that they were just like conveying their emotion and their storyline through their body language and sprinkling some English down there. It was just like so perfect, so entertaining. And Nia Jax came down.
Oh no.
I feel like Nia Jax is like a snake or something because every time Kairi plays the flute, Nia Jax is there like, hello. You know, that's her summoning Nia Jax to come out or something. Because it happened in the ring and then it happened in the backstage segment too. Here she is playing the flute again and then here comes Nia. Like, that's my following.
So I'm going to be honest. Nia is very unstoppable. She's, like they say, she's the unstoppable force. But she talks a small promo and it's not like, hey, I'm so strong and powerful. I don't know. She can really play off of that, like, for pretty much every single promo. Also, I want to point out, when Asuka attacked her backstage, I did not like when Asuka pulled her hair and Nia immediately went down. She should be at least to her knees and not all the way on the ground. It's not like showing that Nia is just this strong person. That's what I'm like trying to say here.
Oh my gosh, Izzy, I've been saying this for the longest time. Like, I want her to be more like intense and like meaner or like, you know, really show what she can do because that's not being portrayed at all. And like, I know I'm skipping around a lot, but like the whole backstage segment, well, I'm like, why is there a random futon on the floor? I'm like, oh.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so much a random futon. I'm like, why is there a random futon on the floor? I'm like, oh, it's so good Nia Jax can fall on it. But like, that just kind of takes away from like her intensity and how strong she is and how tough she can be. And like how you pointed out, like her grabbing her hair, really, that should have anything pissed her off. Instead of like, oh no, I'm down all the way down because like you grabbed my hair, you know? And it's kind of like goes back to her being down, like that whole like segment that they had. Like she took one bump and then she was out the rest of the segment.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like they're diminishing her a lot.
No, I loved when Asuka just grabbed those hair, like it's some handle, and she just like grab it down, and Nia just landed perfectly on a sofa. She's like, hello.
Or this random white sofa. I guess that's what they have. I don't know. I've never been to the performance center. Is a random sofas laying around everywhere.
Well, I didn't see any sofas when I went to the NXT show.
Compared to Kyrie, that was pushed really hard into the whole box, I was like, oh, that was nice.
I know.
You know, but the thing is, like, okay, I'm a little torn. Like, I could totally see that Nia Jax is being booked really weak, but at the same time, it was so satisfying. Asuka was just beating her up twice in a row. I kind of love it. Because the WWE with babyface, they do have this issue where they do book them really weak and they'll keep losing, and finally they might win at the pay-per-view, right? I kind of liked it that Asuka was built strong, but that doesn't mean I liked how weak Nia looked. She better come up with some revenge.
Yeah, for sure. I also kind of want Nia to lean into what everybody always says about her on the internet and Twitter, that she's dangerous, and you know how her Twitter profile picture is her with crossbones and stuff. Like, no, get away. She should lean into that more and be more vicious and lay it in there more. And like, I think it almost works with Kyrie because she's so tiny and cute and small. Then I can throw her around and like throw her into the crates, and you're like, oh, geez, is she all right?
You know, I think that's been a conversation with her character since the beginning, because she said it in interviews multiple times that she doesn't want to be that monster heel. She wants to be more of herself, which I think she's a very funny person. Even like the timing of her looking into Asuka backstage and just walking away, it was just perfect comedic timing. So I think she's trying to incorporate that.
It's hard because, like you were saying, she wants to be not like this big like destroyer. She wants to be kind of herself. I feel like that really won't work because whenever I see Nia, I'm like, oh my god, she's gonna tear the house down. She's gonna like literally beat up everybody. If you put her in a match with every single person on the roster, she would probably win. She really isn't very destructive right now, but I feel like she just should go onto like the whole destroyer. Like she's bulldozing everything in her way, that whole thing. I feel like it would really suit her well and kind of show off her abilities and what she can do.
You know, whenever there's a superhero movie, superheroes' families always the target of attack. So I feel like Kyrie will be suffering next couple months because of Nia Jax.
Kyrie's so cute, and you really you can't destroy her. Like, you gotta keep her nice and safe.
She's also a really good wrestler, but WWE main roster hasn't been really, you know. Yeah. My favorite segment with Kairi Sane is when she was chasing Shayna down after Evolution, and she was just like, Shayna! Shayna! I love it. I want that Kairi back, but I would also really love this Kairi too. Keep playing flute while screaming Shayna.
Please, we need it.
So let's quickly talk about Liv Morgan's segments. She had a really quick face-to-face with camera, and she started talking about her mother. Like,
no. I mean, can I start off? Because, like, I don't even know how she started off. She was like, my mother, and she started to cry. I was like, okay, I guess you're conveying emotion, which is very good when you're trying to cut a promo. But it just was like, please don't cry, like, from the start. Also, there was, like, no bridge between her and her mother. Yeah. Yes, she's her daughter, but we never really had her mother mentioned. In NXT, never talked about her mother, unless they started to build a story that would have made sense in NXT, and she would have talked about her mother now. I would have been like, oh, okay, I remember in NXT, she was her mother's girl. She was inspired by her. I feel like there really wasn't a bridge, and I know WWE is trying to get the fans invested, but I'm not really invested. But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that feel, oh, I'm really inspired by my mother, and I'm inspired by my mother too, but it just didn't feel very relatable.
You know, I almost felt like they filmed it, was supposed to air it last week after Mother's Day, and then they forgot, and they're like, oh my god, what do we do with this footage? It was just kind of random, super random, unless the mother shows up and like Charlotte attacks her or something.
I just think they were just trying to have Liv be the most relatable person on the roster, because, you know, she came up with the whole like, oh, I'm still trying to find myself, I don't know really who I am, and people her age are definitely can relate to that, be like, oh, that's me, and maybe like, oh, hey, everybody has a mom, or everybody can relate to talking about her mom or her parents, let her talk about that. And the next week she's going to talk about like, oh, don't you just hate it whenever you run out of pens? I don't know what something else is relatable.
You know, like
that.
She just keep bringing like all the things that might be relatable.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what they're trying to convey. Just like anything and everything that people can relate to her. Like, I just think that's what they were trying to do. It was kind of like, oh, okay. You know, like, and then what? Like, that was kind of random about it. But I kind of did like the whole tie-in with then Charlotte and then Ruby Riott to go into a match.
So Charlotte again came out and she started this promo. And then she was like, I think Ruby has something to say to me. And I was like, does Ruby have something to say to you? And then Ruby Riott came out. She didn't say anything.
Yeah, it was like, can you say something? Like, I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to beat your face. Say something. Like, please. And also, I'm just going to add, Charlotte is definitely shooting her shots at, like, everybody. Like, she doesn't care who it is. If it's Nia Jax, if it's Liv Morgan, she's like, I'm going to fight you. You said this about me, even though they didn't say anything about her. It's kind of funny, and it's also nice to see Charlotte kind of reign the whole roster because she is the queen and that's what queens do.
So what do we think of this match? It was a pretty quick match.
Ruby can honestly hang with anybody. We saw that with Asuka because Asuka is an incredible competitor and she can hang with Charlotte, who's the best in the business right now. So I definitely think Ruby can hang with everybody, pretty much anybody and everybody. Also, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Charlotte did the figure 8 with one hand.
I know.
She sold the double wrist lock. Furthermore, like, it was cool. I was like, good for you, Charlotte. I was like, put in those little details. Just show it off, Charlotte.
I actually think that Charlotte shines more in longer matches, and this one was a little bit shorter, so I don't think we saw her to her full potential or her to full capacity, because I really think Charlotte gets the time to shine when there is even a 2-segment match or anything like that. But it was good. I definitely agree with what we've seen before, that Ruby Riott can go. I'm almost scared that she might fall into that utility person role where they know that she can have a good match with everybody and anybody, so they're gonna put her in that role to support other people, which I hope it doesn't fall into that, because I think definitely Ruby Riott has the makings of a star, because she does all the little things, kind of like what you said too, like selling the rest. And also, since when does anybody sell a double wrist lock that long? Like, that was awesome to see. That was like super like old school of them to do. I kind of really wish that this match was a little bit longer, but it was good for what it was.
All the hand spots were really cool. I wonder, just the way that Charlotte was selling it, I wonder if this will affect the match on Friday. Maybe, but I liked it. I liked the whole focus on the hand. It made Ruby look really cool. Let's go to the Tag Team Championship. IIconics versus Alexa and Nikki Cross. Should we do IIconics together?
Yes, we should.
3, 2, 1. IIconics. It doesn't work with the lag and everything.
Tried.
It's fine. We'll just put it in. It'll be bloopers. We'll add some bloopers.
So we've got a pretty short match again, which ended in disqualification. Peyton Royce was just keep putting her down to the pole, and it was disqualified. I don't know why. Peyton also thought so. Why is it disqualification?
So I'm definitely happy that the IIconics are back, because no pun intended, I feel like they went definitely down under. Like I said, no pun intended. They're from Australia. That's the whole saying. But it's also nice to see WWE Women's Tag Titles being defended during these times, because last year I honestly feel like I forgot about it and they were never defended.
I really liked IIconics in this match. Like, even last week they showed a lot of tag moves. Here they were way more hard hitting than usual, and they were just aggressive in general. And of course that ending was kind of a shocker.
I thought it was a really good fast paced match. I really liked the whole, like, it was like boom, 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 happening. It was really cool, like the pacing of it. I actually feel like some tag team matches kind of tend to be almost slower sometimes and kind of build up to it. And this one was like hot from the start, so they really went back and forth at it. I really like all the time that the Peyton Royce and Billie Kay both use their legs a lot, because they have long, beautiful legs that I'm so jealous of. Like, it'd be terrible if I tried to do that. The ending was kind of like, oh, okay, like that. I didn't see that coming, and I think it goes back to what you were saying, Dia. So they were intense and they were more hard hitting, and I think because they brought that from the beginning, it kind of like they were like too caught up being intense and hard hitting to listen to the ref count and stop stop beating Alexa up. I did notice today, though, that, or whenever I was watching the match, is that Alexa seems a little almost complacent. Like she almost got too comfortable. I mean, she's good, but I almost thought like she maybe is like too comfortable with what she's doing. I kind of maybe want to see a little bit more out of her. Nikki Cross is still doing her thing, doing her great character work. I felt like I kept on just focusing on the Iconics in this match. I have noticed. I was like, oh yeah, Alexa Bliss is there. I'm like, wait, Alexa Bliss has been there the whole time. Like I kind of like, lost track of her, not only today, but the last few weeks. But I like the match overall. And then I can't wait to talk about that whole backstage segment with Iconics.
You ruined all our chances. And then just big slap right across Peyton Royce. And Peyton Royce was shocked. The world was shocked. And we were like, are they really going to break them up?
I really don't feel like they're going to break up because, one, the whole segment ended in them hugging, apologizing. I think they were crying. I think they were trying to pull that off, trying to convey emotion. But I really don't feel like they're going to separate because they've been a tag team since NXT. And I remember seeing them debut in, like, Largo. And I was like, oh, my God, who are these people? I really can't see them like breaking up because they've just been a tag team for so long, and I feel like they would get lost in the sea. Like there's so much going on right now with Becky being on maternity leave. Everybody's still not like over that. I'm still not over that. You have Asuka as the new champ. You have Charlotte running around all the rosters. You have Bayley and Sasha. There's so much going on, and I really feel like they would get lost unless they would like immediately go to Billie versus Peyton.
So you know how everybody would kept on saying, "Oh, the Iconics are going to come back repackaged, and they're going to be different, and they're going to be new," and then they come back and they're like exactly the same. I think this is the start of that. I think this is their start of the repackaging because everybody probably thought like, "Oh, they're going to come back with new characters, new gimmicks, new looks right away," but then they came back, and I think this is when we're really going to see a change in them. I don't think they're going to separate them. I think this is just going to be the rift that causes them to change. Maybe one will change a little bit more than the other, but I think this will start the actual like repackaging that everybody kept on talking so much about. And also I think it was just like emotion, you know, like you're just in the heat of the moment. You're like, that's how much it means to you. You're like, oh, I just hit my best friend. I'm so sorry. And every tag team, there'll always be a Sean and there'll always be a Marty. And then this team, I don't know which one would be which because I really couldn't pick right now if it would be Billie or Peyton because right now I think they're so even and they complement each other so well.
Yeah, very much.
I think it'd be kind of hard if they do separate them. It means that they have plans at least for one of them. You know what I mean? It's very rare that they separate a tag team and both of them are equally as successful.
I love your idea. I really like that you're bringing the whole repackaging rumor into it because I kind of agree too. Like Peyton Royce had that crazy ending. Billie Kay was just slapping the heck out of Peyton Royce. It almost seems like they have anger issue, or maybe that's where they're going with. One thing is for sure, they're straying very, very far off from the cowardly heel that they were before. It almost seems like they are characters that they can't control their anger. And I would love to see how this transformed their characters into something else.
I know where you're coming from with the coward thing, and I really like that because it was funny and it just added a lot of energy. And I want to see that again, but I would also like to see the whole anger issues just incorporated with the coward thing. I think that would be kind of the full package for those two. Because like you guys were saying, they really complement each other, and without each other, it just would have, like, it wouldn't make sense.
Let's talk about the last match. It is Shayna Baszler versus Natalya, but this time it is submission match, which was a little shorter than we usually hope from a submission match, but I did really like this match.
Like you were saying, DS, it was very, very short, and I was like, that's it, I want to see more. That's how much I was enjoying it. I love submission matches. They're so unique and fun. And I'm sorry, but Shayna is so dirty and smug. It's so hard to not hate her. I was like, oh my God, Natty, please get up. Just come on, get up, beat her up. Let's go.
I actually love the storyline of this match. They're not really having like the actual storyline, but how the commentators were saying it, it just writes for itself. Natalya represents like the old school wrestling. She came from the dungeon. She represents the Hart family, and that going against the outsider, the newer wrestlers who come outside of the whole like wrestling circuits. I think that just writes for itself, and I really love that different types of submissions that were just going back and forth. The only thing I didn't understand was the way that the commentators were kind of like putting down almost Heart Dungeon. Heart Dungeon's good and all, but it's nothing compared to Shayna Baszler and the Real Fighters. And I'm like, why?
As a submission, if you're gonna have a submission match, have a submission match. I feel like almost this was a little bit watered down submission match. Most submission matches that I see, and I love submission matches, and I think I love them so much because I'm not very good at submissions or I'm not very creative. I have really short arms and legs. I think I said this before, but one time I did a seminar with Mercedes Martinez, who was amazing at submissions, but she was trying to show me something, but she couldn't because my legs were too short and her legs were too long. So I was like, so I always love styles of wrestling that I'm not necessarily good or excel at. So submission wrestling is always like, yes, this is awesome because I can't do it so well. So I was like, yes, it's going to go back and forth, lots of counters, lots of getting out of things, super creative, like, oh, I might study this tape. But I was just like, they just really focus on the sharpshooter and Shayna's finish. Yeah. So I kind of I mean, they did have a little bit small submissions here and there, but I kind of wish they might have like teased all them tapping out a little bit longer. I also thought it was really weird that Natalya, super random small thing I noticed, that Natalya tapped with her other hand. You know, why did she tap on her thigh? Because the whole thing of tapping out is you're letting your opponent know, like, oh, geez, okay, that's it, I had enough. If you're tapping on yourself, you're not letting your opponent know. You know,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the whole, because you're telling your opponent, okay, I give up, that's it.
In BJJ, like, if you don't tap the person, you're going to black out. That's actually happened to me. Somebody was putting a rear naked choke on me, and I was like, oh, I can do this. And I blacked out for like a good 5 seconds.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, where am I? I also like when Shayna hooked her leg around Natty's arm to kind of block her from getting out of the ring. I thought that was very dirty and smug. And like I was saying, Shayna is like, she's so mean. She's like the absolute bully amongst everybody in the roster. And then what was the whole Natalya tantrum thing? I was laughing when she started to kick at the rope. I was like, what are you doing, Natalya? You're so much better than that. And it wasn't like, oh, she's part of this whole legendary family. It was just like, this doesn't make sense. I liked the part when she was throwing everything out of the ring for the KO show. But the kicking on the rope just was like, no, that's like 5-year-old stuff. Please get a little older.
Everyone should grow up.
Grow up, everybody. Grow up.
At first, when they were setting up, I was like, come on, Natalya, get out of the ring. They're trying to say, what are you doing? Get out of the ring. At first, I was like, what's going on? Because how you even mentioned, yes, that WWE is so good. I've not seen the production people or their crew. So I thought that was kind of awkward and weird. And then once she did the tantrum, I still thought it was awkward and weird.
That never happened in WWE. I kind of like that they were just putting up everything. Natalya looked extra miserable because of that. So I do like it. I do think that was an effective way of putting that sympathy on Natalya or making her more miserable.
The throwing, seeing a little bit more aggressive side and like a little like actual frustration, but the kicking of the ropes made her seem like a parody of what she was trying to do.
You know, Natalya used to cry a lot when she lose a match. So from that, I think this is a lot of improvement.
That's true.
Do you think this is going to be her heel turn or a character change? Because if you think about it, Natalya never actually had like a character change. She's always a cat-loving, backstabbing lady.
I definitely feel like we're gonna see more badder side of Natty, not just a full heel mode. I'm dark, I'm emo, I'm really mean. I don't think we're gonna see that, but I definitely feel like she's gonna come back stronger and she's not gonna take anybody's crap anymore.
Natalya is, again, like super consistent worker, but she's been criticized for not having like the pop-in character or like the more trendy character. So maybe this is her chance to like freshen up a little bit.
I just feel like there's so many heels though. I don't think if she's gonna go this way, I don't think she should be a heel. You could still be that character and that almost like pissed off, I'm tired of being like complacent character without being a heel. I just feel like there's too many heels in women's wrestling right now in WWE at least. Agreed. So maybe they could still have have that character, but her still be a face.
WWE has turned so many people heel. That's like their only answer to, oh, this is not working, turn heel. We'll see how this goes. So this has been a juicy episode. So much conversation going because there's so many things happening. It was super juicy.
It was.
I never used that word, so this is like kind of different for me. We should put that for the title of this episode. A juicy episode. Of Ring the Belle.
Juicy. Thank you so much, Izzy, for coming on Ring the Bell.
Thank you. Yeah,
so, it's so cool. I can't
time.
believe you're here. I can't believe you're here. I'm like, oh, and legit, so like, I see you on TV all the time, and now you're here.
Yeah, I've seen your show before, and I was like, oh my god, that's so much fun. And it looks amazing because it's not just a formal, like, oh, we're going to talk about this today. Here's what I thought. This was terrible. This was that. It's more controlled, and it's very, like, light and relaxed, and it's just, it's like you're talking with some friends about wrestling.
Yeah.
Just not in person. You're just over the phone. Social distancing, y'all.
So, Izzy, where can everyone find you?
So I have Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and I'm also found on ProWrestlingTees.com.
Yeah.
All of my usernames for all my social media platforms are IzzyMania. Make sure you put in the "it's" because everybody forgets it, but that's okay. And then for Pro Wrestling Tees, you can look up just IzzyMania or simply Izzy. And also on Twitter, I have my exclusive show called The Hot Tag. It's all about NXT previews, my predictions, fun episodes on Sundays. And on Fridays, I'll have some tweets from the fans of what they thought of the previous episode of NXT.
I love that. I'm so jealous that you're right there. So you have all the access to NXT. Jealous! I love it.
I really miss NXT because I've literally been going like every week since now it's live every week. And then I was literally sobbing when they were like, oh, no more fans.
Being that you're the expert of NXT, who's like a person to watch in NXT right now?
I started this new segment called Heating Up, and I preview a upcoming NXT superstar, and I'll highlight them. So I definitely think everybody should watch out for Shotzi Blackheart because even though we've gotten to see a lot more of her, but she's just still a force to be reckoned with. Also, I feel like we should watch out for Jake Atlas. He brings so much. Yeah, he brings so much pride to the ring. Like I love him. I love his jacket too. It's all glittery. That's what I like about it. And he's also in the NXT Interim Cruiserweight Championship tournament right now. So I believe he's winning. Yeah, he's winning a lot right now, so I could see him winning.
All right. I love your pick. Such a good pick. Paloma, where can you find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Weird at Paloma Star. And I'm wearing my brand new look. Check out my merch shirt.
Oh,
that's me.
That's so cute.
From Teespring, so you can check out some Ring the Bell merch. And also on Pro Wrestling Tees, they're going to have a big Memorial Day sale. So you guys go check it out if you want to grab some shirts from Izzy and I.
Yeah. And you can find me at DSShin and Ring the Bell DS on Twitter. All right. Bye.
Bye.